We're a university founded on the side of an airport. Reaching new heights, it's in our DNA. And since then, we've dedicated ourselves to solving the big problems facing our community and the world. We believe that crazy startup idea isn't so crazy, that families without healthcare shouldn't have to go it alone. We believe we can be better prepared for the next hurricane, and that our coral reefs can be saved. And that's because, above all else, we believe in you.
For 25 years, Conference USA student athletes have done things the only way that we know how, the CUSA way. In that quarter of a century, we've learned a thing or two about winning, both on and off the field. Our student athletes are more than just great athletes. They're fantastic students, and they're outstanding citizens who give back to their communities. We're committed to excellence. We are stronger together. That's the CUSA way.
This is the CUSA way. Watch us be competitive, unique, strong, and athletic. We're driven. We're passionate. We're champions. This is the CUSA way.
Alexander has the seam. Alexander cuts upfield. Just the punter to beat. On the far sideline, Alexander to the 25, still on his feet. Alexander to the end zone. Oh, what a return, and he's done it once again against the Minutemen. Deja vu in Miami tonight for Alexander.
Hard time made special teams look easy once again. A familiar dash to the end zone against the Minutemen, highlighting a resurgent performance back home. Smiles aplenty after a shutout that should earn a tip of the cap from that 0-2 defense that last held the team to nothing on the board. But Charlotte awaits. That time of year is here. It's homecoming week at FIU. A little extra pep in the step of the students, the alums, the team. Tony Gator hoping to fly high Saturday night once more. And here at the Graham Center on the campus of FIU, we welcome you to another week of Panther Talk Live with Butch Davis. Welcome on in, AJ Ricketts, Butch Davis. Copy and paste the link, send it to your friends. We got a lot to talk about today on Panther Talk Live. Coach, glad to join you once again. And good times this past week, and the offense is rolling. Defense, special teams, one of those all three phases kind of games.
It's a lot happier Monday today,
isn't it?
Some of the other times. But you just nailed one of the things that, from a coach's perspective, AJ, that you really like is the fact that all three phases played a huge role in the success and winning the game on Saturday night. Offense, lit it up. The running, 278 yards rushing, which really, truly helps, James Morgan in the passing attack when you can run the ball and you're two-dimensional. You just talked about Maurice Alexander in the punt return, 90 yards, which was 1 yard short of tying T.Y. Hill for the longest punt return in the history of the school. But he's so electric. If we do a great job at holding guys up, it gives him an opportunity. Once he gets going, he can make people miss. And then defensively was a complete just domination in the entire game. 115 yards total offense. And the two things that jumped off, AJ, during the course of when you looked at the film on Sunday afternoon was the fact that they were 1 in 14 in third down and fourth down conversions. That really helps you. I mean, you're getting off the field, you're limited in the field position part of it, and so that part, and then creating 3 turnovers. When you win the turnover battle, those things jump off really well. So it was a good, complete win by everybody.
After the adjusted numbers for sacks or whatnot, I think the average yards per carry for UMass ended right around 2 yards or 1.8 yards per carry. Guys swarming to the football. As we take a look at some of the defensive highlights, you referenced it. Another interception from Sage Lewis. You got guys flying to Michael Curtis in the backfield, and even on that first possession, here's the Sage interception, but Owen Cushion forcing a fumble on the first drive. Guys are flying to the football.
No doubt about it. And AJ, obviously, one of the greatest things about Sage Lewis, he was always a great run defender. This year, he's got 2 interceptions, and that's a huge, big role. Here, Owen Cushion coming off the edge and strips the quarterback of the ball, and a lot of pressure. Here you see Chris Whitaker getting a sack, but there's a collapse of the pocket. I mean, really a lot of, people putting some pressure on him. Here, Rashad Dames gets an interception on the sideline, and a lot of it, when you're getting pressure on the quarterback, he's making throws he doesn't really want to make, and guys are in the right position.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that really impresses you and makes you feel good about it.
And what was great in the La Tech game, James Morgan answered a lot of questions resoundingly with his offensive performance. And here this past Saturday, Sage Lewis answered a lot of questions. You said in the La Tech game, maybe he could have gone longer. He was all right in run defense, but moving laterally was the issue.
Yep.
Well, this game, I think he was moving.
He was moving
okay.
pretty good. Yeah, we'll take that every single Saturday.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So defensively, a terrific effort. Again, a program record for fewest yards allowed in a game previously against FAMU a few years ago. So the team sets that record.
Sure.
Offensively, the football flying as well. Tony Gator was a big part of that. For more on his performance this past week and the past few games, let's send it over to Amanda Alvarez.
Senior wide receiver Tony Gator had an impressive game on Saturday against the UMass Minutemen. The Richmond Heights native picked up 7 catches and a score for a career high of 103 yards on the night. His 30-yard catch in the back of the end zone with less than a minute on the clock in the first quarter was the longest catch of the night and put the Panthers up 16-0. From Morgan to Gator, with 2 Minutemen charging at him, he managed another first down for FIU, and he's all excited about that one when he comes off the field. And after the game, he had a few things to say about the changes he made during the summer and the secret to his success on the field this season.
This summer, I was really emphasizing losing weight and getting faster because I wanted to get better with my yards after catch, and that's something that I wanted to do better, and that would obviously help me get more yards and just make more plays and help the team get the win.
If cutting out chocolate ice cream from my diet is the key to 103 yards and 7 catches, then sign me up. We send it back to AJ to give us Tony Gator by the numbers.
That's all you have to do, eliminate the ice cream, and everything starts working out well.
Well, Amanda did a great job, and one of the things that Tony talked about was run after catch. And
Yeah.
watch that game Saturday night. Several times he converted third downs when he actually caught the ball 2, 3, 4, 5 yards short of the first down sticks.
For sure.
But the run after catch to split the defenders and to get to the first down mark was really, really good. And he really did, AJ, in the offseason. One of the things was a goal was to get faster and quicker. And he made plays for us last year in 2018, but this year he's really done a great job.
As we take a look at his stat totals for the 5 games so far this season, and again, you look at La Tech and UMass, more catches in those 2 games individually than he had in the first 3 games of the season. Just finding ways to get open, whether it's an underneath route or getting behind the secondary, it's been impressive. And he's one of these, a number of veterans that are just core to the foundation of the leadership of this team, alongside Austin Maloney and guys in the wide receiving core. He's representative of that.
Well, and obviously you just talked about Austin Maloney, who had 2 catches. One of them was a touchdown for his birthday, which was a great way to celebrate his birthday Saturday night. But Maurice Alexander, those 3 guys, they're veterans, and they understand. They are on the same page with James Morgan. They read the coverages. They know where the openings are. They know when they got to put their foot in the ground, come out of a break, and the timing is really good, and we'll continue to improve on that as the season goes along.
And final note on Gator, referenced it one time before. Freshmen go through tough times, but for Gator, a senior, he wanted that catch back against Western Kentucky. He's been through so much here at FIU, and he has bounced back from that in a big way. Next play, win or lose, next play. He's a great example of that.
He might have gotten cheated out of one this past Saturday night in the back of the end
tiptoeing.
zone. I know, tiptoeing the sideline. It could have gone either way.
Yeah, it was a great one-handed catch. I thought it was going to be an easy incompletion. Gator nearly hauled that in with one hand. Guys making Shamar Thornton's brought in a couple one-handed catches. Yep. It's fun to watch. You never know. All right, this is Panther Talk Live, presented by GEICO as well as Florida Lumber. For over 50 years, Florida Lumber has been servicing homeowners, handyman, and contractors. Visit their showroom or floridalumber.com today. All right, as we said, all smiles this past weekend. The guys, pretty good ball game, 44-0 win. We'll take that. James Morgan, I think he's answered all the questions. He's good to go. He's ready to play the run game. 278 yards. Lots to talk about from this past week and lots to talk about moving forward. Charlotte, we preview the 49ers when we return on Panther Talk Live with Butch Davis.
The only way you can be great is by making the others around you great. Y'all with me? Let's be great then.
There's no excuse for hard work or lack thereof.
Go hard all the time!
Listen in the room. Don't let nobody outwork you. Let's get it.
I'm putting in work, I'm putting in work. Never settle for less, cause I know what I'm worth. My dedication is so amazing. Not all day, every day.
They know what I came for. I run through the snow and the rain fall.
My dedication is so amazing. Not all day, every day we celebrating.
Hard work on 3. 1, 2, 3. Hard work.
For 25 years, Conference USA student athletes have done things the only way that we know how, the CUSA way. In that quarter of a century, we've learned a thing or two about winning, both on and off the field. Our student athletes are more than just great athletes. They're fantastic students, and they're outstanding citizens who give back to their communities. We're committed to excellence. We are stronger together. That's the CUSA way.
Mental health affects us all, whether you finish first or last.
Whether you win or lose.
The stigma around these issues causes those around us to suffer in silence.
Mental health is nothing to be ashamed of.
You are not alone.
You are not alone. As a student athlete,
As a teammate,
As a friend.
We pledge to continue the conversation.
because it matters.
Because you matter. Stand up to the stigma.
stand up.
Stand up.
Continue the conversation.
You are not alone.
For 25 years, Conference USA student athletes have set new standards of success. Our history includes those who are beyond competitors on the field, beyond champions in the classroom, and beyond heroes in their communities. We call them Hall of Famers. The Conference USA Hall of Fame class of 2019. Their legacies live on. To find out more about the inaugural class, visit conferenceusa.com.
Somewhat overcast and rainy today here at FIU, which of course means in about 30 minutes it will be perfect conditions outside here in Miami, Florida. Did you see the banner? It's homecoming week at FIU. Good times all around. Good times after a nice 44-0 win this past weekend. The second largest margin of defeats in school history, only behind the Arkansas Pine Bluff win last season. All right, let's talk Charlotte, shall we, Coach? It's a team. They come in at 2-3 here for homecoming week. They've got a new coaching staff, a new head coach, and Will Healy. Let's take a look at how they've gotten to 2-3 thus far, where they're at this point in the season. They started the season with a nice win over Gardner-Webb, 49-28, the final score of that game. Some big plays on special teams, getting off to a good start. App State has made a statement this year. Big win over Carolina. Right before that was a win against Charlotte, 56-21, the final score of that one in Boone. And this is a team that's played UMass as well. They didn't have too many problems with them. That's, I think, Finger taking it to the end zone. A 52-17 win against the Minutemen. No shame in falling at Clemson. That's something that's happened to many teams. Did put up 10 points. They had a nice punt that was botched by Clemson, took it in for a touchdown. Most recently, FAU went up to Charlotte, put up 45 on the 49ers, a 45-27 victory. So Charlotte comes in at 2-3, and they're coming off their bye week. So, Coach, every week, initial impressions of what you've seen in the first day or two on film.
I tell you what, one of the things, and we've had issues with them in the last couple of years, they have an outstanding running game. They have two really, really talented, good running backs. The quarterback is making plays. I mean, he's finding wide receivers that are wide open. Some of the games, especially like the FAU game, was a lot closer. It was 24-21, and they were in the fight. Then they had some turnovers, and that obviously, like anybody else, that kind of flips the score and widens the margin a little bit when you turn the ball over. But, you know, with the new coaching staff, you're getting phenomenal effort. They're trying to impress the new coaching staff. They're competing as hard as they can. On the defensive side of the ball, one of the things that they really, truly try to do is they try to get pressures off the edges. So they're doing a good job there. You just saw a block punt. So in all three phases, they're really, truly trying to make a statement. And, you know, this will be a very challenging situation for us. We got to get prepared for them.
They're second in the league. You mentioned their defensive ends. They're second in the league with 18 sacks already at this point in the season. season. To give perspective to Will Healy and the turnarounds he's been able to engineer, he was at Austin Peay, who over a 4-year stretch, you see him right there, they went 1-45. Yep. Healy got there, and they had, I think, 7 wins within 2 seasons. So he's been able to engineer turnarounds. Coach, their rushing attack has been vaunted even before Healy got there, and Benny LeMay is a guy we're going to have to keep an eye on. Their team, 219 yards per game on the ground. That's tops in CUSA.
No doubt about it, and they really do, and they're doing it because they have a big physical offensive line, and they're covering guys up. I mean, they had a lot of success. I think they had like 9 plays of 10 yards or more rushing against Clemson. I mean, that's a team that they know how to play defense, and they still are able to get the ball to the second level. So it's going to be a real challenge for our front 7 guys on defense to make sure that we're in the right situations, right gap control, and that we're really, truly trying to dominate the line of scrimmage.
Well, just based on the way the matchup between us and Charlotte has gone the last 2 years, you would expect one heck of a game. So let's take a look at some of the memorable moments from the past 2 seasons between FIU and Charlotte. Let's rewind. Alex Magoo engineering the comeback, laying out, diving to the pylon, and he was a huge factor in that game, leading the comeback, as we'll see on the next play, hurdling defenders to the end zone. Just a great moment.
Oh, I tell you what, Alex was just an unbelievable athlete, and there he was.
Incredible.
Diving into the end zone, taking us, leading us from being behind significantly to come back to win that game. He was a great leader and a great player.
Winning that game with that missed field goal from, I think, Cruz in the final moments. And then last season, Sage Lewis picking up the fumble, dashing as fast as he ever has to get to the end zone there.
Yeah, I tell you what, and Sage, I mean, he's just a playmaker, AJ. I mean, he's a guy, he's going to have a lot of good stats, but he's also going to make plays. Here you see Napoleon Maxwell.
Great game.
Yeah, bouncing down the sidelines, running, taking it home, getting it into the end zone. Obviously, you can see how close the score was, 35-28 at that time. I think the final was 42 to 35. So it was, every single one of these games have been very, very hard-fought games.
It seemed like a game. It truly went back and forth, especially in the second half. Napoleon had a lot of big runs. Anthony Jones, I think he had 2 touchdowns in that game as well. What stood out to you when you looked back at that game, reflecting that was towards the end of the season, putting a couple of conference wins together? What stood out about that win on the road to you?
Well, I think obviously, the success that we have when we were able to run the football really helps our offense. Getting Anthony back at the end of the season last year after the incident that he went through, I mean, he gave us a huge spark. Napoleon and he they're kind of like a two-headed monster because you're always going to have a fresh running back in the game. They can catch the ball out of the backfield. They're good on blitz pickup, and if we do a good job with the offensive line, we're going to get them to the second level. They're going to have a chance to make some really good plays.
All right, when we come back, we take your Twitter questions, and we take a look at the top 5 plays from the win against UMass this past weekend. A lot of fun. Homecoming court is in session. Anthony Jones, Austin Maloney celebrating after the touchdown to end the half. Good times. We talk top 5. We take Twitter questions when we return on Panther Talk Live.
Well, it's happening naturally. When I first was here, I was here with the head coach, Isaiah Thomas at the time, I think it was. I was meeting with the players, and I was here working out and training. It was nice to allow me to use the facility. This year happened to be I'm working with Hillel, and they have their group here on FIU's campus, so it worked out perfect for me. The ideal level is just being able to create programs that allow everyone to learn. And being cutting edge with the programs that we involve the students with. We're just going over topics like intergenerational wealth. How is that important? How does that happen? How do you build wealth? That topic alone can be a lesson that can be taught, for a long time. And there's so many other lessons that can be in programs or activities that can be discussed and implemented throughout the year. So we're being very strategic and trying to figure out the best programs to put in place. Everyone's still, on the quest of life, and so life can take you down many paths. And to be able to be diverse enough to be able to go down any path that life presents itself is going to be important for these students to understand, so that's why we're here. The most important fact is education, because that lasts forever. Being an athlete, you have a 20-year max occupancy on your body. So when that wears out, then you have to, rely on your intellect and your brain. So education is first and foremost. As a professional, it's all about being organized, and being able to create a structure that can allow you to succeed. And that's what we're doing here, and so my experience within life creates a sense of organization that allows me to be professional about what we're doing moving forward.
This is the CUSA way. Watch us be competitive. unique, strong, and athletic. We're driven. We're passionate. We're champions. This is the CUSA way.
Oh man, the scene on Friday night at Panthermonium, the annual concert that kicks off homecoming week. Shaq West and Lil Yachty gracing Ocean Bank with their presence. Coach, I think I see you in the middle of that mosh pit, so is that you right there? I think that's it.
Probably not.
No, are you sure? A great concert to start off the festivities. Shaq West was actually at the football game. It was great to see him coming out after the good times at the homecoming concert. I asked Kenny on air, it's like, Shaq West and Lil Yachty, are they in your iPhone? Are they on your playlist? He said, yeah, they are. Who's your playlist before the game, before on a road trip? Who are you listening to right now?
AC/DC.
A little
old school.
A little bit different of a genre,
exactly.
I think. A little bit. All right, we're finishing things up here on Panther Talk Live. Let's take your Twitter questions to show the people what we got to start off here. I think Eddie Hondahl wrote in for our Twitter segment. Let's see what we got. There we go. All right, Coach, solid win. So all the young guys that played late still have 3 games they can play with that redshirt year and not lose a year with the redshirt. How do you manage that? Can they play the 4th game? Just your plans. What do you foresee with guys like Flex Joseph or Peterson or Peterson's already redshirt, Flex Joseph per se, or things like that?
A lot of those guys, to be honest with you, AJ, are in position because they're following some seniors. We've got a lot of seniors at the wide receiver with Tony Gator and Austin Maloney. So we're trying to get some young guys into the game. Obviously, trying to take some of the starters off of some of the major roles on special teams, like the 2 twins, the Dames twins, getting those guys an opportunity. So you put some freshmen in there to find out. It's a little bit of an audition, get them, break the ice where they get into some college games. And a lot of it is directed by injuries, too. If you have injuries, I mean, some of those freshmen have to play. And, we kind of monitor the 4 games, but if they can play major roles that help us win the game, they're going to play in all 12 games.
Sure.
They can, you know?
Yeah, no doubt about it. But particularly this season, a year in which there are plenty of veterans behind right now, but they'll get their time soon. They'll get their run and then started with the game against UMass. All right, next Twitter question coming up here, I think from Jason Mizrachi. I think a guy you're familiar with. Coach, let's see what he's got. Not a question, but he wants to share the unwavering support of the band is awesome. In all my years as a marching band director, never seen anything like this left. You're always out talking to the band, taking them for the good times. They were playing Shaq West this weekend. It's great to see him out there.
I tell you what, AJ, I mean, they do a phenomenal job. It starts with the Panther walk here, as you see Rory walking down the sidewalk. They're there. They kind of start the energy level with our players, and then during the entire ball game, you can hear them. They show up, they perform, and they are unbelievable. They do a great job. And I'm going to throw in the cheerleaders and the dads because I tell you what, they are there. They're devoted. They help the program. They help try to excite the crowd, and we're very grateful for all of them.
My favorite moment with the band came after the Bahamas Bowl last year in a little tiny shuttle. It packed about 20 of us into the shuttle on the way back to the airport. Literally right after the game, we're scrambling to get on the shuttle. And the bus driver, we weren't really understanding what he wanted, but we made out that he wanted to hear some music. So they got out the trumpets, they got out the horns, and started playing Happy. Me and Kenny were having a concert in there. That was a great time. They bring a lot of energy. Great to see their support of the program. All right, next Twitter question. Frequent contributor, thanks for writing in again. To Timmer7, I believe his question. Coach, how do you and the staff keep the momentum and build off last week's W? It's a little easier to bounce back or have the motivation after a loss, but after a win, how do you keep those vibes going?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, one of the things is that you just say, you set an accepted standard. This is what we should play every single week. Great effort, great focus, and make sure that the players leave the building yesterday. The victory was great. The celebration's over, but now you got to turn the page. It's all about Charlotte now. It's about making sure that you do the exact same things this week that you did last week that helped you prepare. A great Tuesday, a great Wednesday, a great Thursday practice, 100% focus, great effort. Then you'll get on Saturday what you earned during the course of the week.
It seems you were happier with the practice intensity, the execution.
The open day was really outstanding because we went back and we tried to really work on some things that we had not done well in the previous 4 games. And we carried that momentum into last week's preparation for the game. It was 2 good weeks of work.
Oh, absolutely. All right, final Twitter question here. As we start to wrap things up on Panther Talk Live with Butch Davis. Coach, can we expect to see more of Alexis Jean-Baptiste and Chris Whitaker this season? We saw the sack Whitaker had transfers from SEC programs here. It was nice to see them get some run this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously trying to put them into the rotation. The first couple of weeks of the season, we had no idea whether or not they were going to get their eligibility. So they spent the majority of their time on the scout team, which really helped our offensive line going against two guys that are that talented. But now that we know that they're eligible, now that they get a chance to get some repetition during the course of the week, we'll mix them in and try to get them involved in some of the packages, some of our pass rush packages. It's a great addition to get them in there. They're really good kids, and they bring a lot of talent to the team.
There you go. Thanks for asking, Demani. That wraps up our Twitter questions. Now, let's take a look at the top 5 plays from this past Saturday. A lot of good times, a lot of great plays, and it started on the very first possession of the game, Coach. You know, the tackle would have resulted in a turnover, but he got an actual turnover.
Oh, he really did. And I tell you what, Olin did a great job of understanding that they were in an unbalanced line, and one of the guys that was not eligible would have been his guy. So he knew that he could blitz off the edges and did a great job forcing a turnover.
I think Sage Lewis, you know, he really enjoys getting interceptions now. He got a taste of how it felt earlier, and now he has his second career pick on the tip drill.
And he was in the perfect position because he was in the middle of the field. He was piping down the middle. The ball got tipped up, and he was able to break on the ball. Outstanding play by him.
He told everybody, I'm all right. Don't worry about me. Final play of the first half. Doesn't really always work out like this, but draw up the play. Execute.
Well, I tell you what, one, obviously, Austin did a great job getting a release off the corner, getting into the hole between the corner and the safety, and James made a great throw. A frozen rope at the pylon. He made a good play.
Took advantage of that cover, too, ran the great route. He said, I'm back. And Wiggins, don't you forget about me, straight up the middle, just like we saw against New Hampshire.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, it's really good when guys like Kalen, some of the backup players, get an opportunity to play in a game. I mean, he's a talented player, and you love to see him have success.
And the top play of this past week, about as obvious as Bama and Clemson being 1-2 in the poll, the second longest punt return in the history of FIU, only behind T.Y. Hilton's 97-yard return against FAU in 11. Maurice, the top punt returner in the nation now.
Yeah, I tell you what, and one of the things that you love about it is you got a chance in the video yesterday to show how does that happen. Well, Jamal Anderson was holding up their best gunner. He didn't get a chance to make a play on the returner. We had 2 or 3 guys like Tevin Jones that held up guys at the line of scrimmage, and so obviously that gives Maurice an opportunity to get started on the return, and once he gets into the open field, he's dangerous.
We talked about, you know, the offensive phase, the defensive phase, but I want to reference special teams here too. Heatherly, a great night, a little breakdown protection on one punt, but otherwise he's been solid since Tulane. And Jose, 3 for 3 at the 45-yard field goal straight down the middle.
8 for 8, actually. 5 extra points.
PATs, don't forget about that.
Exactly. So he was 8 for 8. And it was good to have his confidence back, the mechanics, and he was outstanding.
Yeah, terrific to see. Jose, get him, a Luke Rosa semifinalist, back on track. That bodes well moving forward. All right, Coach, I mentioned it during the break. Sometimes you just need a game like that to see your confidence levels grow, to get some guys back healthy, to put some young guys in. You know, Michigan was having their struggles. They put a beat down on Rutgers and had a great win over Iowa the next week, a ranked team. So you get a big 44-point win here. Guys feeling confident about themselves now heading to a very important game against Charlotte.
You know, AJ, I think one of the things that comes out of that is that guys start to understand that the success that you have on Saturday during the course of the game is not what you do that Saturday. It's what you do during the course of the week. We had 2 good weeks, the open date and the week prior to the game, and guys really worked hard. They watched film. The practices were outstanding. I mean, the effort, energy level, the finishing, making sure that they eliminated the mistakes that had kind of, hurt us in the previous games, and obviously then the result comes out as exactly the way you want it to.
And it's a team, and UMass has their struggles coming in, but just remember, no team had held them under 17 points this season. Their first shutout of the year. The defense can take a lot moving forward into a game against Charlotte. It's going to be a big challenge against the team that leads the league in rushing and a lot of offensive numbers, no doubt about that. Well, Coach, this past Saturday was a lot of fun. Looking forward to homecoming week. Thanks for the time, as always. Appreciate it. All right, thanks for joining us for the football segment of Panther Talk Live. We're going to talk with new softball coach Chris Starner-Wilcox when we return. But a lot of fun looking at the highlights from this past week and going on YouTube, seeing all the plays that were made for FIU, including this punt return from Maurice Alexander, who now leads the NCAA in punt return yardage. Familiar sights. Maurice, hard time taking it to the end zone against UMass. We're back after this on Panther Talk Live.
For 25 years, Conference USA student athletes have done things the only way that we know how, the CUSA way. In that quarter of a century, we've learned a thing or two about winning, both on and off the field. Our student athletes are more than just great athletes. They're fantastic students, and they're outstanding citizens who give back to their communities. We're committed to excellence. We are stronger together. That's the CUSA way.
Mental health affects us all.
Whether you finish first or last.
Whether you win or lose.
The stigma around these issues causes those around us to suffer in silence.
Mental health is nothing to be ashamed of.
You are not alone.
You are not alone. As a student athlete,
As a teammate,
As a friend.
We pledge to continue the conversation.
because it matters.
Because you matter. Stand up to the stigma.
stand up.
Stand up.
Continue the conversation.
You are not alone.
For 25 years, Conference USA student athletes have set new standards of success. Our history includes those who are beyond competitors on the field, beyond champions in the classroom, and beyond heroes in their communities. We call them Hall of Famers. The Conference USA Hall of Fame class of 2019. Their legacies live on. To find out more about the inaugural class, visit conferenceusa.com.
This is the CUSA way. Watch us be competitive, unique, strong, and athletic. We're driven. We're passionate. We're champions. This is the CUSA way.
The only way you can be great is by making the others around you great. Y'all with me? Let's be great then.
There's no excuse for hard work or lack thereof.
Go hard all the time!
Listen in the room. Don't let nobody outwork you. Just get it.
I'm putting in work, I'm putting in work, never settle for less, cause I know what I'm worth. My dedication is so amazing, not all day, every day.
Behind the screen. Come on, D.A.
They know what I came for. I run through the snow and the rain fall.
My dedication is so amazing, not all day, every day, we celebrating.
Hard work on three. 1, 2, 3. Hard work.
We're a university founded on the side of an airport, reaching new heights. It's in our DNA. And since then, we've dedicated ourselves to solving the big problems facing our community and the world. We believe that crazy startup idea isn't so crazy, that families without healthcare shouldn't have to go it alone. We believe we can be better prepared for the next hurricane, and that our coral reefs can be saved. And that's because, above all else, we believe in you.
All right, welcome you back to Panther Talk Live. Happy Monday, everybody. Let's get the week started off on a good note. Glad to have you with us on Panther Talk Live, whether you're watching it on Facebook Live from work or sneaking in a little viewing session in class, wherever you may be. Thanks for joining us on Panther Talk Live. Just finished things up with Butch Davis talking about the win over UMass, talking about homecoming week coming up against Charlotte this week. And softball season's going to be right around the corner here before you know it. Fall ball is already here, so the girls getting a dose of the diamond here in the early parts of fall. Glad to have you with us, AJ Ricketts, new softball head coach, Chris Steiner, Wilcoxon. Glad to have you with us.
I'm excited to be here. This is a first for me, so I'm really excited.
Yeah, again, well, another welcome to you to the 305. You've had a little bit more time to acclimate now since I think the last time we chatted. What's you all settled in, feeling more comfortable with South Florida here? Yeah.
I really am enjoying this nice weather for sure.
Yeah.
I'm getting nice tan.
It's not going to go away. It's going to be just a little bit cooler in December, like 5 degrees cooler.
That's good for me. I love that. I grew up outdoors playing the outdoor sport. You're used to the heat year round, so it's really nice.
And you're from around my hometown downtown. We've talked about it before, the Panhandle area. I think South Alabama, though. So, yeah, it's hot everywhere down south here. So,
hey, the water's right here, though.
Yeah, that nice breeze. But you might not have a lot of time to spend at the beach right now, getting things going with this team. In the midst of fall ball right now, picked up a couple nice wins the past 2 days. St. Thomas and Broward coming for some scrimmages. But what are the you seen in the initial stages of fall ball? What do you like about your team so far? I know you're still learning a lot about them, their personalities, what they can offer. But what are you seeing? What's initial impressions?
I really like my team right now. They're in a very much growing phase and getting accustomed to what our expectations are and the level of play that we want to play at. It was kind of slow the first day, but that's all nerves.
Yeah.
On Friday, you could tell the kids were a little nervous and a little tight, but yesterday we just really exploded well on offense. We're trying to add to our running game as well. So I think the girls did a great job, and especially playing on Friday and then coming back on Sunday with not a lot of rest, really trying to see where our stamina is and see how we can compete, because we're going to have to learn how to do that during regular season. So I was really excited for them. They did a great job. I saw a lot of good things, a lot of hustle, a lot of running. I was very proud of our pitchers. They did a great job keeping the other teams off balance, so I was really happy with them.
I think one of the exciting things for you as you looked at this job, as you took the position, was the precedent of success here. It's certainly been proven that winning can happen. You go back to 2017, and it's a 46-win season, 46-15, and a win at the NCAA tournament. That's pretty exciting stuff, and it's been above 500 seasons here the past 2 years. But just to know, you have tradition coming here. You have a precedent of success. I'm sure for you, who's had plenty of postseason success yourself, that's pretty exciting coming from Alabama State, and now this opportunity here.
That's our great pressing thing for us right now, is that we're trying to get to that next level.
Yeah.
The last 2 years doesn't define what this program is traditionally, and we understand that, and we want to get back to that winning way, and the girls are really buying into it. I know we need to keep working on a key things that will get us to that level, but I mean, the girls are buying into it, and it's been really fun working with them and seeing what we can accomplish as a group.
Pretty established playing career yourself. Folks don't know. Played in the SEC. Great player for the Auburn Tigers. She actually hit the first ever home run in the history of the Auburn softball program. Did you know when you were playing for the Tigers that when this is over, I'll still be on the bench in some capacity? When did the coaching bug start to creep into your mind?
I think in high school I really knew I loved sports, and it was really the only thing I knew about or was involved in or made me excited about in life. So I always knew I wanted to be around sports. Honestly, if you would have asked me, I really wanted to really break barriers. I really wanted to be a Auburn Tiger football coach or an Auburn Tiger baseball coach. Yeah, I was all into the guy sports really big, but I fell in love with softball, and at Auburn I fell in love with softball even more, and I knew I wanted to coach college softball and be around the college game. It's so exciting, and it's so much fun, and you get to meet all these different people and travel all these different places, and you get to really build things and make a difference in people's lives at that age, because they're all away from home, and you can be a mother to them, a role model for them. So I just knew I wanted to be in college sports, college softball, I guess. But, ultimately, younger days, I would have loved to have been a college baseball coach.
That's awesome.
Football coach.
That's pretty cool. I would say, I know your alma mater took a tough one this weekend, but you were probably coaching. You have no time to watch every football game.
No,
you just check the scoreboard.
I was actually at our football game because we had recruits and stuff, and I try not to get overworked about it. But
that's
I know
probably smart for
all
the
my
best.
family at home was all like, "Oh my goodness."
They're letting you know. They're keeping you updated.
Yes.
Coach, 436 wins, 3 postseason berths in your time at Alabama State. What did you learn in your years coaching there? What mistakes do you feel you might have made in year one as a head coach here? What have you learned in your time coaching here as you make a stop now at FIU? What's any transitions or wisdom or insight you've learned from other coaches as you continue your coaching career?
You always want to get better. And when you're coming into a new program with new kids that you didn't necessarily recruit, you've got to build trust and loyalty, and you've got to build that relationship with those kids to let them know that you're there for them and that you're here to help them succeed in every capacity, academically, softball, life.
Yeah.
And, that's the big thing right now, and we're establishing ourselves. We're building those relationships, and we're really just trying to get the girls to buy into what we want to accomplish as a group, as a team, as a department in general, because FIU wants to win at everything they do, and we just want to be a small piece of that. So it's been really good, and the girls, they really are. They want that success. They want to be better, and that's the first step in the right direction.
Last thing I want to ask you here, and I always love looking at the career trajectories of coaches. You know, I referenced Auburn a little bit. You look at Butch Davis. You know, a successful, incredibly successful career, whether it was Miami, the Cleveland Browns, UNC, and now here at FIU. You know, his coaching career started at Will Rogers High School in the middle of Arkansas, and he was driving the bus to track meets as well, teaching biology. You know, very humble beginnings for him as a head coach, and for him to think, you know, Cleveland Browns head coach in the NFL, it's hard to even think about that at that point. You know, after your high school and collegiate career, I think you got started at Auburn Montgomery, an NAIA program. When you're at that level, starting off coaching, you're certainly grateful for the opportunity. You're invested in where you're at, but is it hard to think that does it sometimes creep up, like, I'm far away from where I want to be? Or are you so invested in where you were, NAIA, and just excited for the, like, what was the thought process there when we talk about humble beginnings in coaching?
Right.
Nick Saban was a GA at a very low level.
Right.
Just take us through that.
I just, you know, at the time when I played, it's not like it is today with social media and everybody's names out there. With the Olympics was just getting started. College softball was really, fast pitch market was really just getting started. There was no TV. There was none of that.
Streaming of every game.
Right. There was none of that. We were at a city field by the interstate. If somebody showed up to videotape, it was amazing. You know, I can't even find pictures hardly of what I played.
Yeah.
So backdated.
We'll find it. We'll try to find it.
But I mean, it was just the opportunity to prove that I was worthy enough and good enough to coach at the next level. And no matter what level that was, I wanted to build a winning program. I started in high school. I had to work my way up to the NAIA. Nobody's handing out jobs. It's so hard to get to that elite level of softball.
Palmetto High School you actually started off.
Right, here in Florida. But, I mean, it's just one of those things where I wanted to buy into the people who gave me the opportunity, and I wanted to show them that their choice in me was the best thing they could have ever done. And, you know, that's kind of my way of giving back to the university and those kids as well, as buying into the dream in the program.
I think that's a pretty cool concept, because it can be very easy to say, you know, I was just in the SEC. I was just a captain at Auburn, and then you're coaching high school softball. But if you invest in the players and their journeys, I think it's not even something you're thinking about.
And I'm still friends with those kids that coached at Palmetto.
I'm sure you look at those times as some of the most fun in your coaching
They
career.
were. And the stories are very humorous, but we'll keep them on the DL.
Once we finish, then I'll get those stories, and maybe next time we'll talk about it. Coach, appreciate you joining us. We're really excited about the spring, and I know you're excited to finally get some fall ball games under the belt.
We're happy to be on the field for sure.
Put the uniform on and go out and represent FIU, no doubt about it. All right, appreciate the time, Coach. We'll be out there soon. Thanks for joining us, guys, on another edition of Panther Talk Live here at the GC. It's homecoming week. Need all of you out of the cage this Saturday night, 7 p.m. Charlotte's FIU, Ricardo Silva Stadium, ESPN 3 and 790 AM. The ticket. See you there. Paul's up, fam.